Hi guys, I'm Paul Notes from Notes Blog. Always question, always explore. And I have one message for you today.
We, sir, we are the diverse America who are alarmed and anxious that your new administration will not protect us. But we truly hope that this show has inspired you to work on behalf of all of us.
We're hearing from the president-elect himself right on Twitter. Donald Trump tweeting this. Our wonderful future VP Mike Pence was harassed last night at the theater by the cast of Hamilton, cameras blazing. This should not happen. The theater must always be a safe and special place. The cast of Hamilton was very rude last night to a very good man. Mike Pence, apologize.
Our fear is not divisive. It's real, it's deserved, and it's historical. Let's forget about the recent campaign for a second. Let's just look at who Trump is appointing to his cabinet. Now you have everyone from a climate change denier appointed to the head of the EPA.
Ebell has long fought against environmental regulations, arguing they're an extension of government power.
We believed that the so-called global warming consensus was not based on science, but was a political consensus.
Quite comical, really, to have one of the merchants of doubt as the head of EPA. That really would be a continuing joke on America.
To Steve Bannon, the executive chairman of Breitbart News, a place that he proudly proclaimed as the platform for the alt-right movement. That's Trump's chief policy advisor right there. And you have this guy, Chris Kobach, who authored SB 1070. That made it legal for police to stop, detain, and demand proof of citizenship from anyone with brown skin or an accent. I'm dead serious, that actually happened.
They've been asked about their nationality, where they were born, things that have nothing to do with that citation or the reason that they were stopped.
Well, civil rights groups say this is going to specifically target and alienate Latinos. Sheriff Joe Arpaio says his department has already been enforcing the law, and fairly.
And then he appointed Alabama Senator Jeff Sessions for Attorney General. Now, if you haven't heard about Jeff Sessions' past by now, just listen.
But the would-be judge's biggest problem came in a case he prosecuted and lost. A vote fraud case involving black civil rights leaders in Perry County, Alabama. Defendants in the Perry County case were Albert and Evelyn Turner, political and civil rights leaders for more than 20 years.
This is Bloody Sunday. Albert can see that's him right there.
The federal government charged the Turners with doctoring absentee ballots, vote fraud, and mail fraud. Blacks charge harassment by U.S. Attorney Jeff Sessions, noting there was no investigation of white vote fraud. Jack Drake, a Tuscaloosa civil rights attorney, says the feds might have found plenty of white vote fraud had they looked for it.
I've seen letters written by the concerned citizens of Sumter County, for example, saying, "We know you don't live here anymore, but we want you to vote here."
The case was tried last summer. Albert and Evelyn Turner were found not guilty.
I didn't think the government had a case. The impetus of it, I think, was to keep blacks from voting, to intimidate people, and they went right after the leadership that they want to defeat.
A man like Jeff Sessions will be there for such a long period of time, and I honestly think that he will be in the way of progress in this area for quite a while.
Is, I believe, a disgrace to the Justice Department, and he should withdraw his nomination and resign his position.
And then there's still serious talk about a Muslim registry. So yeah, he backed away from a wall idea. Now it's a fence. And remember all that anti-NATO talk? Gone. And he can't touch at least some of the federal funding for Planned Parenthood thanks to Obama. And speaking of Obama, Obamacare.
Real change begins with immediately repealing and replacing Obamacare.
Well, according to Trump, he's now going to repeal and replace the law. And if that sounds ambiguous, it is.
When you replace it, are you going to make sure that people with preconditions are still covered?
Yes, because it happens to be one of the strongest assets.
You're going to keep that?
Also, with the children living with their parents for an extended period, you're going to keep very much try and keep that.
And there's going to be a period, if you repeal it and before you replace it, where millions of people could lose.
We're going to do it simultaneously. It'll be just fine. That's what I do. I do a good job. You know, I mean, I know how to do this stuff. We're going to repeal it and replace it. We're not going to have like a 2-day period. It will be repealed and replaced, and we'll know. And it'll be great health care for much less money.
Yeah, that just sounds like he's going to keep most of the law intact, maybe a few nefarious add-ons. But what I'm saying is this. We have to look at Trump's actions instead of his words. We have to pay attention to who he allows to have access to power and what they'll do with it. Prime example? This.
It's not a blind trust if you and your siblings are still running.
We're not going to be involved in government.
We wouldn't be
You're running
involved
the
in
company,
government.
then it's not a blind trust. You're running the company, and he's president.
But he's not making any decisions as it relates to the company. This would be standard operating procedure for any president who's had businesses, whether it was George Bush, whether it is, it's not going to have anything to do with it. And he said that very publicly. He said that a long time ago.
And George H.W. Bush and Ronald Reagan and Bill Clinton and Mitt Romney, the Republican candidate, all put their interest in a blind trust during the campaign. Your father has not done that. It's not a blind trust if it's being run by his children.
It is, because he'll have nothing to do with it, George.
Those same kids who will be running Trump's business empire are also going to be given top security clearance in the White House.
The president-elect would like to see his adult children and his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, get top secret security clearances.
Usually, code word top secret clearance is determined by virtue of the job you are in. As so far as I can tell, no member of the family, his children or his son-in-law, can have jobs inside the White House because of very strong nepotism rules. They don't have to get paid, so Jared Kushner, for example, could be an informal outside advisor. But I don't know how an informal outside advisor gets top secret clearance. This question of whether your family, and by the way, your family who is also running your ex-business, can get that kind of clearance raises all kinds of questions.
Now, Trump didn't really say that this is nepotism. But giving your kids access to proprietary government intelligence while allowing them to run your business empire surely looks, tastes, and sounds a whole lot like nepotism. And it leaves some serious windows open for world-class corruption. Look, I put on a suit and tie just to say this. Don't be stupid, America. Yes, this election was about the establishment, and both sides had anti-establishment candidates. But the key difference is how they appealed to voters who wanted change. Trump appealed to xenophobia, patriarchy, homophobia, Islamophobia, etc., while Bernie focused on class struggle. And unlike the 2008 elections, the Democrats chose an establishment candidate who was also a Clinton, who was also a woman. And the GOP wound up with a bigoted, anti-establishment populist. You add that to an electoral college gerrymandering and the precise and deliberate targeting of the Democrats' voter base through voter restriction laws, and there you have the Trump presidency. It's that simple. But what isn't simple is understanding the motivations behind those who voted for Trump while still allowing for those groups who were targeted during his campaign to experience their collective and very justified fear. Don't ask women, Muslims, immigrants, black people, LGBT people, disabled people, or anyone else to just give him a chance. What are you, nuts? Anyway, I have to go get back to editing. This is the Nose Blog. I'm Paul Notice, and thanks for watching. Can't get out. It's okay. This table is actually really, I repositioned it very strange. And there we go. I don't know. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching.